With 2021 nearly in the books, let's look ahead to 2022, and I'm here to talk about what you can expect on the channel. I'm John Rentham with the channel update for 2022, and possibly beyond, but at least for 2022. So I'm going to get real here, hence the title, Real Honesty with John Ritland, before I talk about, some of the numbers over the years and how the channel has grown a ton, and you guys to thank for it. But I really want to thank you guys in the very beginning for getting me out of a lot of deep, dark depression, anxiety bouts where I've really been in a dark place, off and on the last couple of years. I'm not the only one. I don't like to necessarily refer to this stuff, even though I've talked about it briefly in other videos. And I'm not going to get into too many buzzwords and too much detail beyond saying basically that you guys helped me out with a whole lot of stuff. And I got my friends and family and stuff like that. And of course, I had the producer who, is just great therapy cat. Adopt, don't shop. If you can get an animal and you can, rescue them, they will rescue you at the same time. It's just a great benefit. But you guys have helped me out through so much. And I mean that. You guys really, really have. Especially since this fucking, just pandemic is just way down on so many people. And the reason I don't like to talk about a lot of things I go through is I don't consider what I'm going through that important in the grand scheme of things. So many other people have it so much worse. They're dealing with so many worse things. I'm not saying that I'm not important, but this is how I've always viewed myself. And I've had to realize that, problems I go through are just as important. And to remember and reflect and deal with those and take care of myself. And that's part of the reason I'm doing this channel update video. You guys have increased the traffic on this channel so goddamn much, and I don't know, there's no possible way I can repay you guys. I've also heard from many of you, not just during the pandemic era, but, even before, but especially during the pandemic, time period, which is going on nearly 2 fucking years, with ebbs and flows and Katrina and the waves, and we're not walking on sunshine, but we will be walking on there, and we will be made sure to feel good, but that's not going to be the last bad song reference you get during this, by the way. I use humor to mask my depression, as many of you may know. Many of you reached out in the comments and told me that, my content somehow, just me being a regular guy, a wrestling fan of 36 plus years, sharing my passion for wrestling, territorial wrestling, all the way up to the new stuff. Even if there are certain styles of wrestling I don't like, I respect the wrestlers, the performers, and I will always love wrestling. I'll love from the indie level all the way to the big time. Are you ready for the big time? And even if I don't like the people that run the big time companies, it's still about supporting the wrestlers who travel, and who travel like, hundreds of miles. Maybe they go 1,000 miles just to get to the ring at the show tonight. And I'm sorry to the Vanessa Carlton fans, all 3 of you that still exist or are watching this channel. That's a shame, because Vanessa Carlton actually is a talented singer. But anyway, you guys have helped just elevate my passion for professional wrestling even more. And that's the thing about going to indie shows. Support your local independent promotions properly, and you never know when you'll see the next big star. I've seen so many big stars, met people I never thought I could meet, and I love indie wrestling, and it will always be a big part of me. I'm so glad the indie scene in Washington State is thriving, and it's thriving in so many, and it has come back quite a bit, in a big way since the pandemic, even though it has not gone away, and I don't think it's going to go away for a while. It's not going to be like that Offspring song. It's not going to have gone away. Hey, you've gone away. Boy, I told you that wasn't going to be the last song that I butchered. But in all seriousness, I love wrestling. I love movies, and so many of you have weighed in on the various reviews that I have done, especially as the channel activity and the subscriber count and the interest has grown and grown and grown. And I have you guys to thank. I also have my best friend, aka the Durbinator, to thank for that, and I want to give a special shout to him. Derb, if you happen to be watching this, and he'll come back to the channel when he wants. That's his business. He's taking care of things. He's doing his own thing. He's my best friend first, my co-host second. I want to say, without getting into too many details, because I don't share personal, things about people beyond saying I'm so happy for you. I can never repay you, and I can never really show just how great of a, you're the brother I never had. How honestly, you are a great guy. You are just such a great human being. I'm so happy that you are in such a good place now and you are achieving everything that you wanted to achieve, that I knew you could achieve. I knew you'd be able to do this. And he's a great guy. Great guy. He is literally the brother. He's brother from another mother, that kind of stuff. You don't need blood to be family. All those cliches. He is family as far as I'm concerned. And looking forward to him possibly being part of the channel next year. We will see. But there's a lot of great memories, from him being on the channel. and some of those I'll talk about when I talk about, the next portion of this, when I talk about the various views and the increased activity and whatever. But I just wanted to give a special shout to him. But I also want to let you guys know that you can always talk to me on Twitter and talk to me in DM if you're going through stuff. As I said, many people told me that I've helped them through a lot of issues and a lot of dark times when they've talked about, especially this pandemic and being at home for weeks and months on end, working from home or whatever. Somehow my content helps, and I'm just a regular guy. That's all I am. I mean, I'm amazed by the power of social media. That's something that I do just for fun to help me get out of my anxiety and depression bouts. And sometimes I got to wear, my own mask, so to speak, to put out this content. And I'm not knocking. I want to produce this content to help myself and break on through to the other side, break on through to the Otter Slide, break on through. Have you ever seen Otter Slide? It's adorable. But that's not how the Doors song went. But anyway, I just basically want to thank you guys so much for the great amount of feedback and making this channel bigger than I ever thought it could possibly be. And I started my account, back in May of 2013, and actually didn't start producing content until 2014. If you've been a subscriber since the very beginning, you may remember this stuff. But for those that don't, since I got a lot of new subscribers, especially in the last couple of years, I used to produce content on Ustream and then transfer the videos over to YouTube. And it wasn't necessarily the best stuff. The camera views weren't that great, and also I didn't have the best technology. The phone I had was fine for recording, but it was what it was. Eventually, it got a little bit better in 2015, but really kicked into high gear in 2016. And I ended up deleting everything from the Ustream to YouTube era and just started with, I think it's Extreme Rules 2016, I think is where I ended up having this, where the channel basically starts. So any of the other shit, sorry, it's all gone. There were a few good videos, but other than that, I'm really happy, just focusing on that and going when I was at my friend, another one of my best friends, Cassie. She's appeared on other videos. She appeared for a number of months on the Raw and SmackDown reviews that I did, and even the Cruiserweight Classic reviews. And then Derb came in as a co-host, but Cassie also was part of the the G1 special at the Cow Palace. That was a fun review to do. And she's doing good as well. And I'm really, really happy for her. And she is a very fantastic person. I knew that her and her husband would be able to just do some great things and be able to do what they wanted to do. And they're happy, and I'm happy for them. But it's been great to have friends and have guest hosts and stuff like that and co-hosts on, because sometimes it's good to have jokes to bounce off of. Now, pretty much I've been exclusively producing content for nearly 2 fucking years on my own. And it's been rough. And I'm not going to lie to you guys. There's been times where I've been burning the candle at both ends, as I will demonstrate here with this next chapter discussion. So basically right here is where I'm going to start talking about the view counts. I'm going to go through everything. So the abridged, the kind of cut down version of 2016, 27,000 views almost, and 109 videos from May 1st to December 31st. Not meager beginnings necessarily. I did produce a lot of stuff because I was driving up to Everett, which is the next city south, where Cassie and her husband lived at the time, to produce stuff. And then I was driving to Derb's house, which was in town, and producing stuff. And then I was producing videos on my own. And it was starting to click. And he joined as a co-host on the Raw just before Survivor Series 2016. 2017 is where things really kicked into high gear as far as me producing my own content and also producing content with Derb. Nearly 44,000 views, 379 videos. And then up to 512 videos in 2018 and almost 55,000 views. So that's good. And then 601 videos in 2019, almost 100,000 views. Like 99,000, not 99 red noof balloons, but 99,299 views. That's pretty goddamn good. That's more views than I ever thought could have happened. And I mean, granted, one of those, about 3,000 of those, maybe almost 4,000 of those were for the 2019 Royal Rumble review, which did really goddamn good. And that was after the Mania 34 review did about 1,600 views, which was incredible. And one of the videos that I posted from, in that year, I think it was sometime in September of 2019, still is getting views some 2 years later. My review of that superheroes movie Freaks, which has had I think the last time I saw it was like 10,000, 11,000 views. Boy, if only all my videos could do that well. My God, I'd be even more happy with the channel than I already am. That would be absolutely insane if any of my videos did that goddamn well. But 11,000 views, that was pretty goddamn cool. And I've had other videos that have done pretty goddamn well. And that sometimes they just hit. And then I'm going to talk about some of that stuff. And I'm going to talk about what you can expect to finish off this channel update. But in 2020, the dreaded 2020 number, 166,375 views and 865 videos. That was the peak, and that is the most videos that I have done in 1 year. That is also never going to be achieved as far as a number, because I'm never going to do that many videos in 1 year again. Because part of the reason as to why that, 2019 had so many videos, but 2020 had so many videos, is I started doing the last year of WCW from the reboot episode all the way until the final Nitro, including the pay-per-views and including Thunder and everything. Yep, I got to endure every bit. And got to see some gems and also got to see some stuff where, like, why the fuck is Vince Russo ever allowed in mainstream society, especially in professional wrestling? But that and reviewing the first few months of WCW Nitro, including the pay-per-views, and doing so many retro reviews, doing New Japan content when they came back, doing movies. I reviewed 209 movies last year, 138 that were released in the year, and some retro stuff. And I've also done a bunch of retro reviews for movies this year, and retro reviews for wrestling. Plenty of them. In fact, I think retro reviews sum up about 30% of my content. Now, for 2021, because we still have a few days left, I'm not going to hit the 166,375 views unless you guys just suddenly add like 6,000 views in the next 3 days. I mean, if you did, I'd be fucking grateful, but I don't expect it. But I'm probably going to end up at about 770 videos, maybe 775. So I'll end up about 90 videos short of, what I did last year. But still, that's pretty goddamn cool and pretty amazing that you guys have added like 300, about 300 some odd thousand views in, just over like 320 some odd thousand views, 330 some odd thousand views in just 2 years alone. That means a lot. And I do want to thank you guys. That really means a lot to me. I'm stunned that you guys love what I have to say that much. Now I'm going to talk, though, about why you are going to see a reduction in content. The channel is not going away, even though I probably should have said that in the beginning. Don't worry, the channel is not going away. I'm still going to produce content. But the last few months, I've really been struggling with a lot of stuff and been figuring out what can I do to make things better? What can I do to, because I work full time, and any of the stuff that I'm doing, what can I do to make sure that I'm in a better place mentally and also still producing the best content possible? Here's what I'm going to do. This is what I used to do for weekly reviews. I used to review AEW Dark Elevation, since that just started in March, so I mean, that's an abridged type, but AEW Dark Elevation and Raw on Mondays. Now I would do Dark and NXT and Power on Tuesdays. And then I would do, and actually this is before NXT and Dynamite, weren't on the same night, but then I would review Dynamite. I used to review it on Wednesdays, then I started reviewing it Thursday morning. And then I review SmackDown and Rampage. So that's a lot of videos. And then it would depend on the New Japan content and stuff like that. They had some big event going on or a tournament like the G1 Climax and New Japan Cup or whatever the fuck it is. That would be a lot of videos. As you know, I've cut out the NWA programming, the weekly programming, because honestly, the attention just wasn't there and the program wasn't grabbing me, and I was starting to just watch out of habit, and I decided, you know what, I appreciate the talents that are trying there, but I'm just not enjoying the product, so I cut it. And then I took a look at how AEW Dark Elevation and Dark are doing as far as views and attention and everything. Now, Sometimes the programs aren't that bad. They serve a purpose. They get some people, get some contracted talents, some matches, and they feature some enhancement talents that could possibly be featured in the future. And that's a good thing. But also sometimes the shows have dragged, and as far as views and as far as interest, the views have dropped dramatically, significantly, and it's gotten to the point where I'm watching those shows out of habit. So what I'm likely going to do is drop Dark Elevation and Dark from the weekly schedules. Now I could always end up doing a combined review each week. I could end up reviewing them on occasion. I could watch some matches I care about, but it's too much wrestling. It's just way too much wrestling, which I didn't think was possible with how many retro reviews and all that stuff and everything that I've done. I burned the candle at both ends. I burned the candle almost to the fucking end. I've gotten to the point where sometimes I just watch this stuff and I zone out. And then I have to rewind it and rewatch it and everything. So that's just not fair to the performers. So the weekly reviews will be Raw, NXT, Dynamite, SmackDown, and Rampage at the minimum, with about 2 movie reviews per week. Maybe 3, it depends, because I want to do some more movie reviews. I want to do some more retro stuff. I want to review stuff that's going to be released in 2022. Some stuff that I wasn't able to catch up on in this year because there's been a lot of goddamn movies. Some that were in theaters I didn't get a chance to watch. Some that are on streaming. I got my Netflix, my Hulu, my Shudder, various queues, various lists, Amazon Video, because I got a Prime membership. I got so many lists. Disney, I got a huge list on. There's so much stuff that I'm never going to get around to in the calendar year, so I'll just have to get through that stuff. And then I'll do the occasional wrestling retro review. I'll do the occasional countdown and ranking video. I will keep up on the content, but you guys aren't going to get 865 videos. You guys aren't going to get 775 videos in a calendar year. I'm going to do more stuff for me. I'm going to still produce content, and I want to entertain you guys. I want to entertain myself and keep the channel active and everything. But if there are days where I don't post content, if there are shows I don't review, like I will be reviewing New Japan, but it's going to be the occasional events. I can't even review as much as I did this year, even though I took breaks, because it gets to be, again, too much wrestling, and my interest in New Japan has kind of hit a wall. So I'm easing back on some of this stuff, so I can still produce stuff. I can still produce some content and make everybody happy, make myself happy, and keep the views up. But at the end of the day, I need to do more stuff for me. I mean, I'm going to be 41 years old here in a couple of weeks, and reducing and relaxing a little bit will help make the channel even better. That's ultimately why I'm doing this channel update. Yes, it's a bit long. I do apologize, but since it's kind of a retrospective and a recap and everything and giving you an idea what you're going to get in 2022, I will always take video suggestions. If I can't get to them, please do not take offense. But some weeks you'll have 5 to 7 videos. Some weeks you may only have a few. Some weeks you may just, some weeks I might just, decide to combine all the reviews or all the shows into one review and everything. No, I'm not going to do that. You'll get a minimum of 5 videos a week. 7 with the movie reviews. And with the pay-per-views, you'll still get that stuff. But some days you may not get content, and just go back and look at the archives. So that's basically all I got to say, guys. A bit of a long video, but thank you guys very much for watching the channel. I really do appreciate it, and look forward to more content in 2022. I'm still going to produce stuff. I'm just going to take some time, on occasion for myself. Agreed, but just let me know. Let me know, guys. Let me know your thoughts. Anyway, I'm John Retlin. Let's have a great 2022. See you soon.